And welcome back. Today we are flying out the La-9, highly requested, and I got quite a bit of footage for you today. I got about 4 full games, I got about 6 to 7 pretty hefty dogfights, but most of the dogfights are gonna look a little bit like this. The La-9 is very much reliant on getting that first turn in. The La-9 is a bit of the middle of the road kind of plane. It turns decently well, it's decently fast at low altitude, it climbs pretty well at low altitude, but all in all, at 6.0 it simply isn't enough, and especially when you face against F2Gs and stuff. Sure, they turn a lot worse than you can one turn them just like that. If you don't get into a dogfight like the one you just saw, chances are he's going to be above you, he's going to be outrunning you pretty handily, and he's going to hold his energy much better throughout the entirety of the fight. So it's very annoying to actually deal with them, because the advantages that you possess, they can just play around them. Now, the average F2G pilot will definitely not do that, because most of the F2G pilots are people that bought F2G because it's a very cheap pickup premium for rank 4 USA, and that's completely understandable. It's not as cheap as it once was, but it's still pretty damn solid. So there's a lot of guys flying that thing that do not know what they are doing whatsoever. But the plane in itself is very dangerous, and it can be very annoying to actually deal with. And the same goes with the FU-4B. Now the FU-4B is actually a little bit more annoying, because it's basically you. However, it's going to be much more suited for RRB. Now you do have a much more maneuverable frame at high speed, but other than that little bit of elevator compression, you don't have much to go off from. He is faster than you, he turns similarly, with the flaps down, he outturns you at low speed especially, he just turns into a helicopter. And you can tell that I'm just focusing on the FU-4B. Managed to get a hit in, I crit him, but I need to keep looking at the P-47M, which is another plane that's extremely dangerous. I go straight for a little bit too long and I almost end up passing through his guns. Luckily I was a little bit too low and he can't really neg G, because the FU-4B doesn't really like doing that. We go up over his nose, and at this point he is essentially dead, because he's already crit. If he was not damaged at all, this would have been a little bit problematic. Luckily there's a tree just high enough to catch his wing. P-47 then flies away and he gets fragged by one of my teammates. Going into the next fight, we dive in, we have a lot of extra speed here, and we meet an F8F1. Now the F8F is not the most dangerous plane. It's kind of comparable to you, and the one with 50 gals especially is not that dangerous, because it doesn't really have that firepower to gun you out of the air instantly, because one of the strengths of this plane is just the amount of durability that you have. Sometimes your engine will get one shot, but I mean, it's a prop plane, happens pretty often. All in all, this plane is very durable, and you'll see plenty of that later on here. So the F2G then flies through our guns, and I need to kill this guy right now, because he's gonna be the biggest threat late game, as he's gonna be running us down very easily, and I don't want that. So we get on the 6, we manage to get a hit in, we manage to get another hit in, we crit him again, and then we finally, with the 4th burst, we actually managed to take him down. And now we are pretty slow, but we have a hefty amount of altitude. So what we do is we put it into a slight dive, and we are going to convert all that altitude into speed, get some separation. We then go back up, turn all the speed back into altitude, and we should be able to deal with this furball. We still have some teammates around, and as I say that, one of them gets shot down, and the second one gets shot down. So now my teammates are kind of gone. Luckily, we should be fine here. We have some extra speed. The F8F burned a lot of speed turning at all, because again it's an F8F, and because it's not the F8F-1B and he doesn't have the A&M trees, we shouldn't be in that much of a danger, even if we try to stall them out. So for now we are gonna try and go horizontal for a little bit, or diagonal I should say, and I'm gonna try to make them climb up for us, and as they do that they will lose a lot of speed and they will put themselves in a pretty bad position. Once I get at my desired altitude, my desired distance, I will level out, I'll dive a little bit to get a little bit of extra speed in, making it much harder for them to hit us, and then we just wait for the opportunity. The A7M is not close enough whatsoever. The F8F just starts hosing at us with his 50 gals, but that's the only shot he is going to be getting. He's about to be stalled out here, so we go up and over, we drop the landing flaps, and we see who we can frag here. We have both of them right below us, and we should be completely alright. We shoot at the F8F. I noticed that the A7M is going horizontal. He's not diving. He's not trying to get away from us. So we switch targets and we gun him down instead. Now the A6M in the meantime is climbing away. The F8F tries to go up for us, And we are just completely in a position here where he can't do anything about it. We take his tail off, or at least a part of it, and then the A6M comes in from the other angle. We should be completely alright here. I can just shoot this guy down pretty handily. And then run away from the A7M, or the A6M. The thing is, there's a Key 83 that's unspotted, Key 84 coming in, and an A6M, so we just get completely gangbanged and we die about 20 seconds later without even getting a shot off. Yeah, kind of unlucky. So we go ahead on with an A6M, a little bit later he dodges, so we recommit, and once he recommits I will just slap him in the face with a 23mm, and down he goes. And the reason why I cut the last part is because I just got completely swamped. There's nothing I can do, and this video is long enough as it is. And there's really nothing to take away from it. I just got an A6M on me, a Key 83 diving from orbit. And you can tell how that combined with another Key 84 in the mix turns into a little bit of a problem. So we have a P51 here. I wasn't sure which variant it is, but it's a D30. We roll around his guns. He has that rudder compression that's pretty bad. So we turn up after him, hoping he will take the fight, because it's a little bit of a higher altitude, at least for us. He doesn't, he's going to keep flying straight. So we're going to try to take a pot shot at him, see if we can gun him down like this, but he's clearly paying attention and he will outrun us in the long run. But every time I shoot, he's just going to be dodging. And then he simply dives to the deck, which is probably the worst thing he could have done. But I'm not actually going to bother with that, because I do not want to get below the entire enemy team. And once he sees that I break off, he's just going to keep diving, so I'm going to be out. There's no reason for me to chase him. I don't know where he's going, but he will waste a lot of speed and altitude and time to get all of that back. So for now we are going to be flying straight again, and we are going to be looking for some prime targets. I keep looking behind me to just make sure that that P51 doesn't come back, and he doesn't. He's going to stay there for the rest of the game. Do your thing, I guess. In the meantime, I will try to cut off this A6M as well as the Key 87. The A6M here is not my main target. He is very slow. He's flying into the opposite direction, and he's going to be a non-issue for a pretty hefty duration here. So, in this kind of situation, you can play it safe. And playing it safe in this thing normally isn't actually the best idea, because this thing just doesn't have the performance to capitalize on the enemy's performance. You kind of have to capitalize on the enemy's mistakes. Just like this one, he's going very slow. He's trying to go horizontal instead of diving out, getting some altitude, getting some speed, I mean, and trying to reset the fight. Instead, he gives me the shot. And then, yeah, play it safe. Try to not take too many risks. But then you meet someone like an F2G over here that's actually going to play it somewhat correctly. And then you will instantly see how annoying it is to fly this thing. And then, well, there's not a real way to say how do I fly this plane in X situation. Because at the end of the day it will come down to what the enemy is doing. Now this F2G is playing it rather passively. He's playing it rather safe. And that's somewhat correct. He's dodging our guns. He's making sure that I don't get a firing solution. He's trying to bait me into these fights, and you do not want to go vertical with an F2G. I can't stress this enough. What I'm doing right here is what you do not want to do. But I don't have much of an option. He's playing it safe. He's not taking many risks. And because of that, if I then also don't take any risks, what's going to end up happening is he will win. Not taking risk means I'm not going to get shots. And if I don't get shots, he will win over the long run simply because his plane is better. So I will have to put myself in pretty shitty positions here to actually try and get a kill out of this. Because at the end of the day, if I don't take risks, the chance of me dying is higher. So not taking risk is actually more risky, if that makes any sense. So F2G is going horizontal. This time he waited a little bit too long to go vertical. So I'm going to instantly pitch up after him. And if he goes straight up, he will stall himself out. And I should have a pretty easy shot. And if he goes horizontal, well, this becomes a little bit more tricky. Luckily, I just managed to get the shot in. If I had missed that, I would have been dead. Just to clarify that. It is very annoying to fight. He flew it quite alright, but he made some mistakes. And at the end of the day, that's what did him in. Here we are, a game later. We have a PB4Y, a P51 and an F4U. The PB4Y normally wouldn't be much of an issue, because they always try to fly away from us. The problem is, the second I am going into this 2v1, the PB4Y thinks, oh, I'm gonna go be a part of that. And it's actually going to be pretty damn annoying. So we have the P51H here, which is actually probably the most painful plane to face in this thing. It outturns you, it outclimbs you, it outruns you. It simply does basically everything you want better than you. So we dodge the FU-4B after gunning down the P-51H, and we are gonna start dogfighting the FU-4B, and it's gonna be a pretty nice fight probably. I'm already getting some position, but here comes the teammate and he guns him down. So that's gonna be a done deal very quickly. And now I just have to look around because there's only one guy above us, which is great. It's also an F-82, which isn't the biggest problem. It's very annoying to face because he can just spray you down, of course. But we are all familiar with how the F-82 works. So I'm actually gonna just kind of ignore him and try to secure the area so that my team can actually win it down low. The LF Mark 9, especially on the deck when it has an energy advantage over you, is extremely deadly. And you do not want that thing to be loitering above your friendly furball. So I want to take this guy out. And then I want to start looking at killing the enemy team so that my team stays alive. But I can't do that if this guy is hanging back. So I need to make sure that I can do my job safely. I want to secure the position. I can start killing the enemy team again. So we go into this fight with a lot more energy. Look at this guy. He is very, very slow. And we are going to start pulling onto the 6. But then he breaks off. And he goes head on with the 162. But it doesn't really matter. Because he would have been dead right there. Regardless. He goes head on with the 162, he managed to actually crit him, which is a little bit of a problem. Not sure why he took that head on, the 162 that is, but he did, and here we are. 162 is then engaging the F-82 together with me, but the F-82 is extremely slow, and we are just gonna click on him, and there goes his elevator. And now there is 3 more guys left, and because we did our job somewhat properly, our team still has somewhat of a presence. Of course, you cannot guarantee this. Very often what will end up happening is you do everything right, and then at the end of the day your team kinda lets you down. And guess what? It's 1v6, and there's really not much you can do in that situation unless they come at you one by one, and then they still all have to make some mistakes, because most of the planes you will face, especially this BR, will be superior to you. At least in some way or another. AU1 coming in. Not the biggest threat. We are just going to turn in front of him to try and make this fight as short as possible. He tries to force the energy fight because of that. Simply not the best idea. So he's going to turn right in front of us. We're going to shoot at him. Down he goes. F2G is shooting at someone else, so I was expecting him to not actually notice me. We go head on, we break off last second, and down goes the 5th guy. And here we are going to play it like I played most of the matches, just going full in, balls to the wall, and you're kind of forced to. And again, because playing it safe just simply does not work. You cannot really carry late game, and you need to make your presence known at the start of the match, because your main strength will just be instantaneous turn rate, damage model, and your guns. Now of course you still need to make the guns connect, because they are pretty damn slow. But when they hit, most of the time they hit pretty hard. And at this point I'm just trying to get as many people on me, as many people down low, and I'm gonna try to kill as many people in the process while doing that. Now I don't want to go to the deck on my own. I don't want to give them the kill, so to speak. I want to bait them down low, either below my team or into a furball. I don't want to just bait them for one random guy on the deck. I get 4 of them on me, I get a kill, they kill me, net score is even. Perhaps net score is even down for us, because the guy on the deck is on the deck for a reason. And he is not gonna be that much of a threat down there. And if I sacrifice all my energy and speed to kill a guy that's not really a threat, net score would actually be down for us. So now we go down into this furball over here. I'm trying to be as aggressive as I can, trying to kill as many people as quickly as I can. And it's gonna be a little bit balls to the wall. Now that guy dodges us, I'm not sure if it's on purpose or not. I don't think he actually saw us, but he dodged us nonetheless. So we turn around and we try and kill the F2G right here. We managed to actually not get the shot in. Unfortunate. And now we are going to be raid fighting 2 of these guys at the same time. Well, one of them is on R6 and one of them is going to recommit here. We go full commit. We gun him down. We were right above his nose. Shouldn't be an issue as long as we don't get killed by desync. Trying to go up and over on the second F2G, but FU-4B comes in. So we are forced to break off. He doesn't actually go for us, so it wasn't that much of an issue in the long run. Go up and over his nose. Turn back around, and he's going to try and turn into the wrong direction, giving us his 6, and then he turns the other way around so we can shoot him again, because he gets a little bit closer, just that little bit quicker. And now Tempest coming in, he is gonna be way too fast, and if I dodge this guy, there's a chance that he actually still kills me. So I'm just gonna commit in the head-on, gun him down, and that's going to be him out of the match. Now I am damaged. I have a black wingtip, which simply is not gonna be working here. and especially against planes that I will struggle with when my plane is completely fine. And they also have an energy advantage over us, so we are not looking very great right now. I'm going to be trying the RTB, I'm going to be trying to land, and again, I don't have an issue with landing, I have an issue with base AA shooting people while everyone is in the air. Now, I'm completely fine with base AA if I am landed, if I'm repairing, but the second I take off, that AA should not be a thing. Now, we are going to benefit from it this time, but I still think it shouldn't be a thing. Looking around here, however, we are damaged, but we still have the ability to shoot at people. I'm basically dead in the water right now, but if an opportunity arises, I'm gonna be trying to take it now, because if I land and my team dies and I have to take off and it turns into a 1v3, I'm not gonna be in a very great position. Now, the black wingtip here is making it a little bit hard to pull. We are just gonna be full committing, get him out of the match, trying to get to the base here. I'm very slow. I'm gonna try to cut underneath this guy here so he doesn't actually shoot at us, and he goes for the 262. That should be able to outrun him. And look at my speed, it's simply not very great. And now we are just gonna win to AA. Fantastic. Yes, I also mulled about it when it helps me. I do not like AA. I don't think it should affect the gameplay as much as it does, and it's very much abused by almost the entire community. But looking at this situation, I have a 2-man squad on my 6, we have a P-47M as well as an LF Mark 9, and they are just staying on my 6, not committing. Very annoying. And if I wait too long, they will eventually kill me. So, I'm just gonna go full suicidal mode and see if they want to commit to me wanting to die. Because they shouldn't even take a bullet from me. However, the P-47 breaks off, they space each other out so that I can go one by one. So I'll just full commit them. Spitfire full commits with me, P-47 gets a very lucky one-shot fire, but completely misses the doors, and they both die despite playing it very safe. Sometimes taking risk is better than not taking risk, just like in that situation. But if you're gonna take risk, don't just kill yourself when you have the advantages. You don't have to take a risk when you have to be at the balls like that. If they had just dodged the head on, or just broken off in separate directions, even if I had killed one, the other one would have 100% done me in. Talking about playing it safe without risk, these two guys have been camping the airfield for a very long time here. They finally get out. That guy has nowhere near getting a shot on me, but hey, desync is a bitch. Going on with the F2G after him finally coming out. I'm getting kind of jumpy at that point. I just want you to die if you're camping the airfield. And I will call you a rat for that, for obvious reasons. And then the A21 simply, I don't know, he plays it super safe the entirety of the time. And then the second he gets an opportunity to dive to the airfield, he goes vertical. Not entirely sure. And here comes a Spitfire, and I really couldn't be bothered to fight one properly, so I'm gonna cut my throttle, be as slow as humanly possible, and try to just reverse him. He flies through his guns once, but luckily he has wing mounted guns. And we get on the 6. Now, we are gonna be abusing flaps here. We are gonna be abusing the fact that we have position, as well as the fact that we, well, don't turn in front of our enemy. Now, take a very close look at this LF9. The LF9, if he holds this line, will simply win. But every time he's about to get position, look at that, he turns. And look where he's turning. He's turning in front of us, so we can switch our line, and we get an easy shot. Now, I completely fucked that up. That's my fault, I could have easily killed him. But he does it again, he's out-turning me, and he turns the other way. And when he turns the other way, we are again going to get our position back that we just lost. He could have flown straight and pulled straight up, but instead he's gonna turn around and almost give us a shot. There's a lot of these pilots in the game, so when you say you can out-turn Spitfires and X-plane, take a closer look and see if it's actually the case, because very often it's just because of a lot of pilot errors in the other side of the cockpit. And here comes an FU-4B, and the FU-4B, as I mentioned earlier, is very annoying to face, especially if you get an enemy pilot like this one that takes very minimal risks, but luckily for us he does lack a little bit of experience. And he's gonna have a pretty nice mix of being aggressive and passive and making sure that I can't actually kill him. Now he's flying straight here. I don't lead it properly, but it's good to know in the back of my mind that I know that this guy is not really gonna be dodging my shells at longer ranges. Now, take a quick look here, see how experienced he is. Not a bad pilot, but taking into account that he plays it very safe, at least in his first engagement, is indicating a few things to me. He's probably gonna try and get easier kills if they come along the way. He's probably not going to be going full for a dogfight, so I'm not going to be trying to set up for one. Instead, I'm going to be trying to set up for high speed passes and see if I can just simply get him right in front of me. Now, he does exactly what we expect. He is going to be flying straight. We lead. Looks a little bit better, but again, just a little bit too little lead. He's just flying away and he's going straight to the airfield. Not sure if it's because he's just flying in straight lines like he was earlier, or if he's actually going to try to go for the airfield. But I'm going to do a little bit of a dig move now. I'm going to be flying towards our Junker 288. Because I have this feeling that he is simply going to break off instantly and try to get an easy kill in the second he sees a bomber instead of someone that's actually putting up a fight. Now, he's going to be running us down. And I'm going to be trying to set him up in a way that he goes for the bomber and then I can loop around and shoot him down. Because if we keep doing this forever, I will eventually run out of energy. As we discussed before, the FU-4B just has a better plane. And it's very annoying to face, especially when he has more energy than you starting off. And even when he doesn't, he is faster than you, so he can simply run away. Now, he actually does exactly what I thought he was going to do. Unfortunately, he kills him in a single pass. And now we go head on with the FU-4B, which is a little bit better than him starting on R6. So we can go and try shoot him in the head on. He dodges, but because he did a pass, because he wasted a lot of energy, and because he tried to go head on, pull in, turn into me, and no idea where he came from. Luckily he missed, but because of all of that, we now have a little bit of a beat on this FU, and he is not outrunning us as fast, and at this altitude we are actually somewhat comparable in terms of top speed. And I had a little bit more altitude, so I can turn that into speed. F2G on R6. But what I want to do right now is try to reel this FU in as much as possible. He's gonna start diving again, and he gets two options here. He's either gonna dodge and eventually be caught by me, or he's gonna fly straight and collect all my bullets. Now, I hit him with at least 423s there. I got a crit. He's gonna be absolutely fucked up. And you can tell I'm instantly catching him. He starts turning, and then I simply forget how to aim. Now, that was a spark, but all of this is just bad. And I'm forced to go up with him, because if I start engaging the F2G and it's not in the head-on like this, that FU-4B still has plenty of authority to actually gun us down. So we go head-on with the F2G, and I'm trying to get away from him as fast as humanly possible, because those 50 kills have quite a bit of reach, and even with him being on fire, he had much more energy coming in. So we would have been in his gun range for a little bit. Luckily, we outrun him. He's on fire. He's going to be dead. I'm not going to be attempting a dogfight with someone that's already burning up. And that's quite the unnecessary risk, which I am not going to be taking. Thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one.